am powerful. I claim my power. I am unstoppable. In step 3, I want you to speak it out loud. Read your power statement out loud, not in your head, out loud, because I want you to feel the power in it. I want you to feel the truth in it. And I want you to repeat it 3 times to yourself, each time getting louder. Make it so loud that your neighbors or your roommate or whoever be like, what's they doing? Because this is your power statement. Monday, we talked about accumulating power. We talked about survival, transformation, building. We talked about 53 years of living and saying, I have power. Well, today we identify your powers. We do the inventory, we see it, and we claim it. Because you can't claim power if you don't see it. So let's do the work. Welcome to the Season of Self-Love Podcast. I am your host, Nyomi Banks, and I am so glad that you are here. As we continue to transform in life, so does this podcast. In Season 5, we're moving differently, more intentional, more action, less learning, more doing, less waiting, and more living. This is a space where we don't just talk about self-love, we practice it. We don't just discuss transformation, we live it. Every episode is an invitation to do the work with me, not just listen to me talk about it. This podcast is brought to you by Ask Nyomi and Elevate Me Self-Discovery, where we believe that loving yourself intentionally is a foundation of true transformation. So get ready, get your journal, get your pen, because in Season 5, we're doing the work together. Now let's get started. Well, all right, my beautiful people, again, welcome back to the Season of Self-Love. All right, so before we dive into this exercise, we're going to ground ourselves with a 60-second guided meditation, all right? And today we are witnessing our own power fully without minimizing it, all right? All right? So wherever you are right now, if you can, close your eyes. Get comfortable. Place one hand on your heart. I want you to take a deep breath in through your nose. Now slowly release through your mouth. And I want you to notice right now, in this moment, that you're okay, that you're safe, that you're not running, that you're here. Now inhale, exhale. Now I want you to say to yourself, I can be both calm and powerful. Now inhale, exhale. My nervous system is learning to trust me. Now inhale, exhale. And I want you to say, I don't have to run on empty to stay unstoppable. One more deep breath in. Release. And when you are ready, gently open your eyes. And let's begin. All right, my beautiful people, if you're new here to the Season of Self-Love Podcast, it's something we do every Monday and Wednesday just to help us get grounded before we get into the topic at hand. All right, so Monday, we learned that you have accumulated power, right? You have accumulated power through survival. That's what you've endured and overcome, your transformation. Now that you've changed and you've grown and building what you created and contributed to, and your overstanders, how they see your power, but you need to see it too. So this is the very first exercise that we're going to do today. It's called, it is called the survival inventory. That's what it's called. Had to go through my notes real fast. That's what it called. So first we have to identify what you've survived. What did you survive? So what I want you to do right now, I want you to grab your journals. I want you to grab your journals because you know what, we're going to be real today. Remember, this season is all about action. It's all about being real, all right? All right, so step one, I want you to list your survivals. What have you survived? I want you to write it down. Don't minimize it. Don't apologize it. Just speak it. Say it. This is your journal. This is for you. Was it a heartbreak? Was it a loss or death? Was it betrayal? Was it something emotional, physical, or either a sexual abuse? Somebody's judgment? Was it judgment? Was it shame? Was it financial hardship? What was it? Was it family trauma? A health issue? Was it discrimination? Was it a broken relationships with friends? Was it a career setback? Was it an addiction that one of your loved ones have? Grief? So the list that I give you, write at least 8 to 10 that you survived. And if it's only 2, write it down. And what did each one of those teach you? For each survivor, I want you to ask this: what did I learn? What did I learn? What strength did I develop? What strength did I develop? Like, let's talk about for heartbreak. Heartbreak, what it taught me? It taught me what I won't accept anymore. I developed resilience and learning. And loss. Loss taught me that things matter, people matter, situations matter. And develop compassion. I learned to hold sacred space with things. With betrayal taught me discernment. It developed boundaries for me. It learned to trust my gut. Abuse taught me my self-worth. Development, self-protection. I learned to recognize the red flags. Judgment. It taught me not to care about everyone else's opinion, that their opinions don't matter. But what it helped me do, develop thickness of my skin and learn who I matter more than anything. And for each survivor, write down what it taught you. All right, the next step is I want you to acknowledge the strength. Acknowledge the strength. Now, for each survivor, I want you to write an acknowledgement. And I want you to write it like this: I survived. I survived whatever it was that required strength, that required courage, and that made me powerful. That made me powerful. So you can write, like, here's an example: I survived heartbreak that requires strength to walk away, that required courage to be alone, that made me powerful and know my worth. I survived loss. This is another one. I survived loss that requires strength to keep going, that required courage to feel it all, and that made me powerful in knowing what matters. I survived judgment that requires strength to stay true, that required courage to be seen, that made me powerful in my authenticity. I want you to write the acknowledgement for each survival. What did you survive? What did you learn strength from? Now, exercise 2 is the transformation inventory. Now, we identify what you transformed. So now step 1 is, what have you changed? What are you now that you weren't before? In a relationship, it went from accepting mistreatment to setting boundaries, from people pleasing to being authentic, from toxic to healthy. And what about in your career? What about in your career? It went from no job to a new job. It went from being lost to found your calling. It come from surviving to now thriving. And in health, it went from sick to healthy, from disconnected in my body, from struggling now to thriving. And in beliefs, where did it go from? It went from shame-based to love-based. It went from fixed to growth-oriented. And it went from limited to limitless. In identity, it went from you hiding to now you being visible. It went from performing to now being authentic. And it went from shame to unashamed. And in your patterns, it went from reactive to being intentional. It went from being a victim to being a creator. It went from being stuck to now evolving. So I want you to write down at least 8 to 10 of those transformation examples that I gave you. And step 2, how did you do? How did you do it? For each transformation, I want you to ask, what did I do to change this? What did I do? Examples from shame. From shame was based to love. Based to love, base changed to did therapy. I did therapy. I read books. I did spiritual work. I had hard conversations and I made brave choices. From my toxic relationships to healthy ones, I set boundaries. I walked away from people dealing with healing work and not trusting and all of that other craziness. I know when I just said craziness, that sounds so, but that's true. It is so true. And then from my career, the loss of my career to a calling. I explored my options. I took risks. I invested in education and said no to what did no longer serve me and say yes what did. And then I went from hiding to being visible, to therapy, to coaching community, to speaking truth, to showing up and being vulnerable. So for each one of those transformations, I want you to list the actions and I want you to work it. What worked for you? What work it took? You heard mine. What's yours? And step 3, let's celebrate that transformation. So now that we acknowledge what you transformed from, I want you to transform from this to this that require work, that require courage, that require power. And then you say, I did that. So I'm going to give you some examples using my stories. All right. I transformed from shame-based to love-based living that required therapy, spiritual work, brave choices, and I did that. Here's another one. I transformed from toxic relationships to a healthy one that required walking away, healing work, boundary setting. I did that. Here's another one. I transformed from hiding to being visible that required vulnerability, community, truth telling. And I did that. I want you to write that celebration down on how you transform or what that transformation looked for you and how you did it. And then say, I did that. I did that, like that Coach Carter movie. I did that. Oh, never mind, I'm about to go off on a thing, but like that. All right, and exercise 3 is the building of the inventory. So now that we identify what you've built, now we're going to continue. Step 1, what are you creating and contributing? So what have you built and what are you building? So for me, in family, raised the children, created traditions, built relationships, created a home. And in a business and career, I built a company, created a job, contributed to a mission, become a great influence. In my community, I built friendships, created community, contributed to causes, built support networks. In my personal, built skills, built knowledge, built health and spiritual practice. And in my legacy, built something that will last, influence people, created an impact, left your mark. If any of these resonate with you, I would love for you to write them down. Write at least 8 or 10 of these things that you could have built or you are building. And in step 2, what did it take? For each thing that you build, I want you to ask, what effort did this require? What resources did I invest in? What did I sacrifice? And what did I create? For example, give you some. Raise children, years of presence, sacrifice, learning, love, showing up, teaching. Built a business, time, money, risk-taking, learning, failure, persistence, and growth. And yes, I said failure because in those failure, those are lessons learned. There are lessons learned in that failure. Built a community, vulnerability, showing up, trust, building consistency. Built healthy relationships, boundary, communications, healing, forgiveness, presence. But for each thing that I built, it's going to require something. What did it require from you? All right, step 3, acknowledge your building. Acknowledge your building. Now acknowledge what you've created. And write this. I built this, what you created, that required effort, that required investment, that required power, and I created this. So I'm going to give you an example. I built a family that required years of presence, sacrifice, love, showing up, and I created this. I built a business that required risk-taking, persistent, learning from failure. I created this. I built a community that required vulnerability, consistency, trust, building. I created this. Write an acknowledgement for each thing that you've built. Write an acknowledgement for everything that you've built. All right, our next exercise is all about your power statement. Now I want you to write your power statement in your declaration. I want you to gather your inventory. That's the first thing you do. I want you to look at all 3 inventories, what you survived, what you transformed, and what you built. All right. Then step 2, I want you to write your statement. Now write your power statement. And it's going to go like this. I am 53 years old and I have accumulated power. So whatever your age is, you put it in there. I have survived, and I want you to pick 3 key survivals, but I'm still here. I had transformed your transformation to your new transformation, and I did the work. I have built, pick 3 key things that you built, and I created this. My actions, my growth, my presence is my power. My intentions, my heart, my spirit, my words is my power. I am powerful. I claim my power. I am unstoppable. In step 3, I want you to speak it out loud. Read your power statement out loud, not in your head, out loud, because I want you to feel the power in it. I want you to feel the truth in it. And I want you to repeat it 3 times to yourself, each time getting louder. Make it so loud that your neighbors or your roommate or whoever be like, what's they doing? Because this is your power statement. This is your power statement. And you use this. All right. I'll write it down in the notes so you can, do it if I went too fast. And then step 4, and this is optional. If you want to record it, you know what I usually do on, and I should have brought it with me. At my altar, I have a little bitty recorder like this, like a little bitty recorder that I record when I'm at the altar, when I'm doing my gratitude and my intentions. And I speak into that. And then whenever I need, a little burst, I will listen to it again because I want to hear my voice back, you know. So if you can record yourself speaking your power statement, if you can, then I want you to listen back and I want you to hear yourself claiming your power in your voice. This is powerful work. This will make it stick. And 5, using your power. Now that you have identified your power, what would you do with it? What would you do with the power that now that you know that you have? Step 1, how would you use that power? Your power isn't just for you, it's to serve others. It's to serve others. So I want you to ask yourself, how can I use my power? Who can I serve? And what can I create? So here's some examples. I survived heartbreak so I can help others heal from betrayal. I transformed from shame to unashamed. So now I can model authenticity. I built healthy relationships so I can mentor others in boundary setting. I built financial stability so now I can help others to do the same. I built a community so now I can continue to expand it. So for each piece of power that you identify as, how can I be of service? And then the next step, what's one action? This week, what is one action that you can take to use your power? Can you share your story with someone who needs to hear it? Can you show up in your community in a new way? Can you help someone in an area that you've overcome? Can you create something that you've been wanting to create? Can you lead something that you have been afraid to lead? Can you take risk in your business or your career? How about deepening relationships and using lessons that you've learned? Write them down, one action that you will take this week. Just one. That's it. And then the next step 3, I want you to make it real. I want you to commit to this action. Write it down, tell someone, put it on your calendar, but make it real. Make it real. Now, this is your power commitment in this week. I commit to acknowledging my survival. What I've endured doesn't diminish me, but it proves that I am powerful. I celebrate my transformation. I did the work. I changed. I grew. I own my building. I created things. I contribute to it. I speak my power. I speak my power statement out loud multiple times. I use my power. Take one action to serve using what I've learned. And 6, I stop shrinking. I stop apologizing for my power. I stop minimizing my journey. That is my power statement. That is your power statement. for this week. All right. All right, my beautiful people. So let's close this out with our closing affirmation. So if you will all repeat after me, I acknowledge my survival. I survive. That proves my power. I celebrate my transformation. I transform, and that proves my power. I own my building I built. That proves my power. I am, whatever age you are, I am 53 years old, and I have accumulated power. Not because of my past, that it was perfect or is perfect, but because of my journey. My actions, my growth, my presence is my power. My intentions, my heart, my spirits, my words is my power. I claim my power, I own my power, and I use my power. I am powerful, I am worthy, I am unstoppable. I am reclaimed, I am unashamed, and I am unstoppable. All right, my beautiful people. All right. You just did powerful work. You identified what you survived, what you transformed, what you built. That's your power. That is your power. Your overstanders see this. Your real community celebrate this. Now you own it too. Next Monday, we celebrate your community, the people in the space, in the frequency, in the power. But this week is to speak your power statement. Use your power. Stop shrinking. Stop shrinking. And I want you all to remember that next week, the Elevate Me self-discovery app is launching. And if you haven't signed up for the wait list as of yet, I want you to go to elevatenyomi.com. As well as I decided earlier this week is that I will do a 7-day 30-minute live session. It's called the 7-day Elevate Experience. That will coincide with the launching of the app. So on June 23rd, when the app launch, on June 23rd at 5 p.m. for the next 7 days, from June 23rd to the 29th, we would do a live session for 30 minutes. And I would take you on a beautiful journey of elevation during that time. And so there are limited spaces. If you are listening to this, I will be later today, there will be a link where you will sign up. And again, it's limited. And there will be some questions because I want to make sure that you are real in this journey and wanting to do this. I know where I started from a lot of you all, but that's not where I'm at now. And if you truly feel like you're stuck and you truly need some assistance or something, and that you feel that I'm able to help, this is a space that you need to be in at that 7-day Elevate Me. And I'm excited because as I'm getting the I want to call the program, the event together, it's definitely an experience. I'm definitely making it an experience and not just your normal webinar or normal class. And it's free. It doesn't cost you anything but your email address and your commitment to yourself. That's it. That is it. All right, my beautiful people. So until Monday, this is your girl, the goddess Nyomi Banks, here reminding you that you have accumulated power. So I want you to acknowledge it. I want you to celebrate it. I want you to claim it. And I want you to use it. So be good to one another and yourselves. And always keep it sexy. Remember to love yourself first so you can love others well. And don't forget to watch us on YouTube. The Season of Self-Love is now on YouTube. Subscribe, video episodes, behind the scenes content, and more. All right. Have an amazing, amazing day. Have a good one. Hey, my beautiful people. We are building something real over here on this channel, and I want you to be a part of it. So subscribe, like this, and drop a comment below. Tell me your biggest takeaway. I read every single one of them. This is the Season of Self-Love, and it's your season. I'll see you Monday. Love you.